Hello everyone. In this today's session, we are going to discuss bolted joint under direct tensile load. Here, today's discussion or this video tutorial belongs to CO number 5, wherein after studying this unit, students will be able to design threaded and welded joints subjected to eccentric loads like in case of chip-headed cranes. Now, as far as joining of the two machine parts is concerned, if we want to clamp or hold two machine parts together, join two machine parts together, there are number of options. Famous of that are either to use threaded joints or welded joints or riveted joints or adhesive joints. Nowadays, adhesive joints are getting popularity, but threaded and welded joints are most common ways to join two machine parts together, to hold two machine parts together or clamp two machine parts together. In case of threaded screws, those threaded screws are used for two different purposes. One is the power screw to apply the load, to sustain the load, or to lift the load, or either to convert rotational motion into translated motion. This is covered under unit number 4, that is comprising power screw applications. Whereas threaded screws are also used for joining two machine parts together or clamping two machine parts together. And for that, the threaded screws in form of nut and bolts or studs or screws are used, and that is called as threaded joints. Here, stud can be considered as a bolt having no head. If no head is provided, then the bolt itself will be termed as a stud. As far as the unit number 5, which is stipulated in our university syllabus, therein they have stipulated four different types of threaded joints: eccentrically loaded threaded or bolted joints in shear, eccentrically loaded bolted joints wherein eccentric load is perpendicular to the axis of the bolt, eccentrically loaded bolted joints wherein eccentric load is parallel to the axis of the bolt, and bolted joints subjected to tensile loads. This fourth type we are going to discuss in this today's video tutorial. Type number 4, bolted joints subjected to tensile loads. How to analyze bolted joint subjected to tensile loads, that we are going to discuss in today's video tutorial. The bolted joints are too much common. If we call bolted joint, the very first figure comes in our mind is that of the joint required to join the flange of the cylinder with the head of the cylinder. Head of the cylinder and flange of the cylinder are joined with the help of bolted assembly. Such number of bolts are used over the periphery of the cylinder head, and this bolted joint assembly is used. We have to call it as a bolted joint assembly because it comprises the bolt, the nut, the washer, the lock nut, etc., and therefore it is termed as a bolted joint. So such number of bolted joints are used over the periphery of cylinder head, and that comprises bolted joint. Now consider this cylinder or pressure vessel as such, and this head of the cylinder is fixed with the flange of the cylinder using bolted joints. Now whenever the inner fluid, its pressure rises, its pressure increases, due to this pressure there is a outward or upward force that is getting applied over this head. This upward force will be causing elongation of this bolt, that will be causing tensile load on this bolt. And what happens due to this applied load that we are going to discuss in today's discussion. Taking into account that applied load, how to design this board that we are going to study in today's video tutorial. Now here, whenever we call a bolted joint, some members, generally the flange, the cylinder head with the head are joined, and a gasket is also provided to ensure leak-proof joint. So the number of members are held together using this bolted joint. This before pressure is applied on the head, cylinder head, while assembling this head of the cylinder with the flange of the cylinder, these bolts are tightened, and these bolts are tightened, sorry, rather nuts are tightened, and this tightening of the nut causes elongation of the bolt. That's why, due to this initial tightening of the nut, there is some tensile load on the bolt. That is called as initial load, preload on the bolt. This tightening of the nut causes these members to get compressed. These members will experience compressive force, and that compressive force will be same in magnitude with the tensile force as getting applied on the bolt. This compressive force which is same in magnitude to the tensile force on the board is called as initial load on the members. So there is initial load on members as well as the bolt. That initial load is denoted by Fi. Fi will be positive tensile for the bolt, whereas Fi will be negative compressive for the members. Afterwards, due to this inner fluid pressure, there will be force on this bolt. There will be force on this bolt. This is called as external load on the bolted assembly. To understand it clearly, let us see this. Here, bolt is preloaded, bolt is experiencing tension, whereas these members are experiencing compression. Now, further external load is applied on this bolted assembly. This external load, applied external load, will be shared amongst the bolt and the members. And due to this applied external load, there will be further elongation of the bolt, further tensile force will be applied on the bolt, whereas this externally applied tensile load causes relieving of the compressive force on the bolt. These on these members, these members are initially under compression. This applied external tensile load will cause relieving of the compressive force on these members. Some of the initial compression Fi of these members will be relieved due to this applied external load. This applied external load or this applied external load will be shared amongst the bolts as well as the members. Bolts will get further elongated, whereas this compression of the members will get relieved up to a certain extent. The same is shown here. For better understanding, I have just tilted this figure, and we are looking at this figure in horizontal direction. So here we can see initially the bolt was under tension due to external applied load. This external applied load is getting shared amongst the bolts as well as the members. This externally applied loads share of the bolt FB or PB will be causing further elongation of the bolt. The share of the externally applied load for the members PM will cause relieving of the initial tension on the members. So here Fi is the initial tension for the bolt. Fi considered as negative minus Fi because compressive force Fi will be on the members. Externally applied load, say P, will be shared amongst the board as well as members. So externally applied total load P will be having two components PB and PM, load share of the boards plus load share of the members. This PB will try to further elongate the board. That means this PB is of tensile nature, which will cause additional tensile force for the board, whereas PM having tensile nature will cause relieving of the initial compression of the members. Relieving of the initial compression of the members. So after the external force is applied due to say this internal pressure or specifically applied external load, this externally applied load getting distributed amongst PB and PM will cause resultant force on the boards FB as equal to Fi plus Pb. Fi is the initial tensile force and Pb is the tensile load share of the board due to externally applied load. Externally applied load will be shared amongst Pb and Pm. Resultant force on the members. Initially, member was experiencing compressive force Fi and Pm is of tensile nature. Therefore, resultant compressive force on the members Fm will be given by Fi minus Pm. Fi minus Pm. So, this is the maximum force as experienced by the board. While designing this bolted assembly, this maximum external force Fb divided by pi by 4 dc square core area of the board will will signify maximum stress develop inside the boards. Maximum stress induced inside the boards will be given by maximum tensile force as experienced by the board divided by pi by 4 dc square, where dc is the core area. This induced maximum tensile force will be equated with permissible tensile stress rather, which is equal to SYT upon factor of safety. If we equate induced maximum tensile stress with permissible tensile stress, sigma max with sigma permissible, while equating the resultant force of the on the bolts Fb is known to us, sigma permissible is also known to us, so we will shall be in position to calculate dc, the core diameter of the bolt, multiplying the dc by 1.19, that indicates nominal diameter of the bolt, and based on this nominal diameter of the bolt we have to specify m size of the bolt for that particular bolted assembly. Now consider the resultant force on the members. We have seen that resultant compressive force on the members will be given by Fi minus Pm, or resultant tensile force will be given by minus Fi plus Pm. Pm is the load share of the member which will be of tensile nature, and initial load on the members will be of compressive nature. So resultant tensile force on the members will be given by minus Fi plus Pm, or resultant compressive force on the members will be given by Fi minus Pm. In either way you can call it as. Now for ensuring leak proof joint, this voltage assembly is meant for joining the two machine parts together. Here we want to join the cylinder head with flange of the cylinder so that there will be no leakage of the working fluid from this assembly of cylinder head with the flange of the cylinder. To ensure leak proof joint, we should ensure that there is no separation of this cylinder head from the flange. Flange and head are not getting separated from each other. To ensure leak-proof joint, we have to ensure that there is no separation of the head from the flange. That means we need to ensure that these two machine parts are always held together. There is no separation. For that, we need to ensure that these members are under compression. They are experiencing compressive force. If these members are under compression, if the members are experiencing compressive force, then there will be no separation of the members from each other. The members will be always in intimate contact, and there will be no leakage in between the members. There will be no leakage from the in between space of the head and the flange. So to ensure leak proof joint, we need to ensure that there is always some amount of compressive force experienced by the members. Members should always be under compression. To ensure leak proof joint, we need to ensure that members are under compression. The moment the moment members lose the compressive force, the members resultant force on the members become equal to zero. At that time there will be leakage. That means whenever Fm becomes equal to zero, this resultant compressive force becomes equal to zero. Whenever Fm becomes equal to zero, at that time there will be leakage. Fm is equal to 0 is indicating leakage condition, separation condition. At that time, there will be separation of the members which are otherwise held together using the voltage joint. When Fm is the resultant compressive force on the members. Whenever Fm becomes equal to 0, that is the condition when there will be separation of the members, and that will be the start of the leakage. So that is the condition of separation of the members. To avoid separation of the members, to avoid leakage, we should ensure that members are always under compression. Fm should always have some value in negative, because compressive force, resultant force of resultant force on the members Fm should be non-zero. Rather, it should be compressive. It should be of compressive nature. Fm should not be equal to zero. The moment Fm becomes equal to zero, that is the condition of separation. So for separation, Fms have has to be equal to zero. That means the moment at which Fi becomes equal to Pm, Fi initial load of compressive nature on the members become equal to tensile load share of the members. The moment Fi becomes equal to Pm, there will be separation, there will be leakage. So the separation condition is signified by Fm equal to 0 or Fi equal to Pm. Fi equal to Pm. Now, based on this, we can ensure that there is no separation and there is a leak proof joint. Also, using this condition, we shall be in position to predict what will be the internal force, or sorry, external force required to cause separation of the members. What is the external force? As the external force will increase, Pm will go on increasing, and the moment Pm becomes equal to Fi, there will be separation. So at that time, whatever is the external force, that is called as the external force causing separation. That's why it is called as separating force, and it is denoted by Ps. Ps is the external force at which separation starts. That means Ps is the external force at which it causes Fi equal to Pm. Fi equal to Pm. Now here we were talking about the load share of the bolt as well as load share of the members. How to calculate load share of the bolt and the load share of the members? For that, the formula specified for calculating load share of the bolt as Kb upon Kb plus Km times P, where P is the external force. Its load share for the bolt is given by Kb upon Kb plus Km, where Kb and Km are the stiffness of the bolt and stiffness of the members. Kb and Km indicate stiffness of the bolt divided by stiffness of the board plus stiffness of the member. Km represents stiffness of the members, Kb represents stiffness of the board. This division Kb upon Kb plus Km denoted by say letter constant C. So load share of the board is given by C times P, where P is the external load, Pb is the load share of the board, and C is the constant indicating the ratio of Kb to Kb plus Km. On the similar lines, one can define or one can find the load share for the members Pm as given by Km upon Kb plus Km times P, where P is the external load. Now, Km, if Kb upon Kb plus Km is indicated by C, then obviously Km upon Kb plus Km will be indicated by 1 minus C. So therefore, Pm will be indicated as 1 minus C times P, 1 minus C times P, where C is Kb upon Kb plus Km. Kb and Km are indicating stiffness of the board and the members. For calculating Kb, we need to take it into account area of the board, cross-section area of the board, stiffness of the board material, sorry, modulus of elasticity of the board material, and effective length of the board. Now here area, cross-section area of the board, it is calculated based on nominal diameter, not the core diameter. While equating sigma c, while equating maximum induced stress with permissible stress, we had considered the core diameter, but in the formula of kb we are taking into account the nominal diameter d, pi by 4 p square. eb is the modulus of elasticity for bolt material. lb is the effective length of the bolt. Effective length of the bolt is nothing but summation of thicknesses of the members held together using the board. Effective length of the board will be equal to thickness of the head plus thickness of the gasket plus thickness of the flange. So here T1 plus T2 plus T3, this summation will indicate LB, effective length of the board. Effective length of the board is nothing but it is the summation of thicknesses of the members held together using that bolted assembly. So here you can see this cylinder head having thickness set T1 and flange having thickness set T3, and the gasket in between is having thickness T2. These three members are held together using this bolted joint or this using this bolt. Therefore, effective length of the bolt will be given by T1, thickness of the head, plus T2, thickness of the gasket, plus T3, thickness of the flange. So in the formula of KB, this LB indicates effective length of the bolt. It is nothing but the thicknesses of the members held together using the bolt. As far as KM, the stiffness of the members is considered. We know that number of members are held together and united stiffness of these members, effective stiffness of these members is given by 1 upon Km is equal to 1 upon K1 plus 1 upon K2, etc., where K1, K2, etc. are the stiffnesses of the individual members which are held together using this bolted joint. So here reciprocal of the effective stiffness is given by summation of reciprocals of individual stiffnesses. These stiffnesses are in series combination, and whenever stiffnesses are in series combination, we have to add their reciprocals to find out reciprocal of effective stiffness. The same consideration is used here. Effective stiffness of the members, united effective stiffness of the members Km will be given by 1 upon Km is equal to 1 upon K1 plus 1 upon K2, etc., where K1, K2 are the individual member stiffnesses. These individual member stiffnesses are given by 2 times pi d square E1 upon T1. K2 is equal to 2 pi d square, which is common as in case of K1 or K3, E2 upon T2. Please note that here nominal diameter is used. Nominal diameter of the bolt is used. E1 is the modulus of elasticity for member number 1. E2 is the modulus of elasticity for member number 2, and so on. And T1, T2, we have already discussed. Those are the individual stiffnesses of individual thicknesses of the members. So with this much information, we can proceed to solve one numerical wherein the idea will be much cleared off. Let us solve one numerical. Here, as shown in the figure, cylinder head is fixed with the flange. Cylinder head is fixed with the flange using 8 identical bolts made up of steel grade FEE 400. Internal pressure of the working fluid is 1.2 Newton per millimeter square. The initial tension inside each bolt is 10 kilonewton. We have to find size of the bolt using factor of safety as 2.5. Also, we have to find out separating pressure. The pressure inside the cylinder which will cause separation of the members, which will cause leakage from in between space of the members. Also, they have specified thicknesses as thickness for the gasket as 5, thickness of the flange as 24, thickness of the head as 24 again. Modulus of elasticity for the bolt material 210 gigapascal. Now we know 210 multiplied by 10 raised to 3 Newton per millimeter square, because 210 gigapascal is nothing but 210 multiplied by 10 raised to 3 megapascal. Megapascal is Newton per millimeter square. So AB is equal to 210 into 10 raised to 3 Newton per millimeter square. Gasket material stiffness, sorry, modulus of elasticity for the gasket is 82 gigapascal. That means 82 into 10 raised to 3 megapascal. That is 82 into 10 raised to 3 Newton per millimeter square. Modulus of elasticity for the flange and head material is 105 gigapascal. So with this much information, we need to design the board, and also we have to predict the pressure at which there will be separation from the joint. So here, due to this working fluid pressure, the force as experienced by the head will be calculated as total external force on the head will be equal to internal pressure multiplied by projected area of the cylinder. Projected area of the cylinder is pi r square or pi by 4 d square. Here they have specified r, internal cylinder radius. Therefore, we are going to use pi r square as the projected area or cross section area. You can say it as. So cross section area of the cylinder is pi r square, and it is multiplied by pressure. Pressure multiplied by area is the force as experienced by the cylinder head. So cylinder head experiences total force PT as equal to 96509 Newton. There are 8 number of bolts used to fix this head with the flange. Therefore, external force on each individual bolt will be equal to total force divided by 8. Number of bolts 8. So external force P on each of the bolt will be 12063 Newton. Now here number of bolts is equal to number of bolts Z is equal to 8. Bolt material, for the bolt material they have specified bolt material as FEE 400. If the material is specified in this format, steel grade FEE 400, then this 400 indicates SYT value. Suppose grey cast iron FG 200, that 200 represents SUT value. In case of grey cast iron suppose indicated as or designated as FG 350, then that 350 indicates SUT value. In the similar manner, if the steel grade is specified as FEE 400, this 400 indicates SYT value. So SYT value is 400. Then they have specified factor of safety. So SYT divided by factor of safety, that will indicate permissible tensile stress for the bolt material. Initial tension inside each of the bolt they have specified as 10 kilonewton. so 10,000 Newton. External force on each of the board we have calculated as 12063. Then thicknesses they are specified. So summation of all these thicknesses is nothing but length, effective length of the board. So that will be 53. They are also specified moduli of elasticity for different members, and that we have enlisted here. Now we shall start our solution here. First of all, let us calculate KB, the stiffness for the board, which will be given by AB EB upon LB. AB is the area of the board, pi by 4 d square, modulus of elasticity EB, and length of the board, effective length of the board, we have calculated it as a 53. So pi by 4 d is unknown, nominal diameter is yet not known. So let it be as it is. Then modulus of elasticity for board material 210 into 10 raised to 3 divided by LB, effective length of the board 53. So KB becomes equal to 3112 d square. Now for the members, as far as the flange and the head is concerned, they are having same material. It seems that their models of elasticity is same. Also, their thicknesses are same. So their stiffness is going to be same. Therefore, K1 and K2, K1 and K3, stiffness of the head and stiffness of the flange will be same. That will be given by 2 pi d square E1 upon T1, because they are having same thickness as well as same material, same modulus of elasticity for member number 1 and 3. So here also, please note that nominal diameter d, small d is used, 2 pi d square E1 is the modulus of elasticity for either the cylinder head or flange, 105 into 10 raised to 3, and thickness for flange and as well as head is 24. So using that we have calculated K1 and K3 values in terms of d square, 27489 d square. K2 is the stiffness for the gasket, 2 pi d square E2 upon T2. E2 is the modulus of elasticity for gasket material, 82 into 10 raised to 3, and T2 is the thickness of the gasket, it is 5 millimeters. So K2 becomes equal to 103044.24 d square. Effective stiffness of these members K1, K3 and K2, that will be calculated as 1 upon Km. Effective stiffness of the members Km, 1 upon Km is equal to 1 upon K1 plus 1 upon K2 plus 1 upon K3. So after solving this, you will ultimately have Km is equal to 12127 d square Newton per millimeter. Being stiffness, its unit will be Newton per millimeter. Now value of Kb and Km is with us. We are in position to calculate C, the constant, which will be useful while calculating load share of the bolt. So the constant C will be given as the ratio of Kb to summation of Kb and Km, Kb upon Kb plus Km. So d square will cancel out throughout, and this constant C will be having value of 0.2042. So external load on the bolt is P. Then bolt load, external load share of the bolt is given by C times P. So value of C is with us. Using that value, we can calculate load share of the bolt. That will be 2463.42 Newton. External load on the bolt is known to us. It is 12063. Out of 12063, 2463 Newton force will be utilized for causing further elongation of the bolt, and remaining 9599.58 Newton force will be utilized for relieving the initial compression of the members. So total load on the bolt FB will be given by Fi plus PB. Value of Fi is 10,000 Newton. PB right now calculated 2463.42. So total force on the bolt is 12463.42 Newton. Now we have already seen SYT value for the bolt material is 400, Factor of safety is specified as 2.5. So sigma permissible for the bolt material is 160 Newton per millimeter square. Induced stress inside the bolt is given by FB upon core cross section area pi by 4 DC square. Please note that here DC is used. So induced stress inside the bolt is FB upon pi by 4 DC square. It will be equated with permissible stress of the bolt material. Sigma induced will be equated with sigma permissible. While equating, DC is the only unknown, which will have value of 9.95. Multiplying this DC by 1.19, that will indicate value of D. The nominal diameter required for the bolt is 11.85 millimeter. Therefore, we are going to select next standard value, next standard M value, that is M12 bolts for this bolted assembly. We should use M12 bolts, 8 number of M12 bolts for assembling the cylinder head with the flange of the bolt using a gasket in between. Now, secondly, after designing the bolt, after selecting a standard bolt, they are asking us that if the internal pressure of the working fluid inside the cylinder goes on rising at a particular pressure, there will be separation of the bolted assembly. They are asking us to find out that separating pressure. Now we know that for causing leak-proof joint or for ensuring no separation of the joint, the member should always be under compression. That means Fm of compressive nature given by minus Fi plus Pb, that should always be having non-zero value. Member should always be under compression. The moment Fm becomes equal to 0, there will be separation. The moment members lose the initial compression, there will be separation. So the separating condition is nothing but it is given by specified by Fi equal to Pm, where Pm is the load share of the members. The moments the moment Pm becomes equal to Fi, there will be separation. As the force go on rising, at a particular point, load share of the members will become equal to Fi and there will be separation. That force will be called as separating force. So here, first of all, let us calculate separating force, and based on that, we shall be calculating separating pressure. So separating force will be given by, will be signified by the condition wherein Fi equal to Pb. Sorry, Fi equal to Pm. The moment Fm equals to 0, that means Fi becomes equal to Pm, there will be separation. So separating force Ps is signifying the condition Fi equal to Pm. Now Pm is given by 1 minus C times P. So knowing value of C, which we have already calculated, we can find out load share, which will be 0.7958 times external load P. The moment Fm becomes equal to 0, there will be separation. Moment Fm equals to Pm, the moment Fm becomes equal to 0, that means Pm becomes equal to Fi, there will be separation. So at the time of separation, Pm will be equal to Fi. At the time separation, Pm will be specified as 0.7958 multiplied by P, and it is the condition of separation. That's why it will be termed as separating force Ps. So separating force Ps will cause Pm. Pm at the time of separation will be 0.7958 multiplied by Ps. That will be equal to Fi, the initial load 10,000 Newton. So based on this, we can calculate equating Pm with Fi. We can calculate separating force. Separating force will be equal to 12566 Newton. That means load share of the members will become equal to Fi when external load due to internal working pressure on each of the bolt will be equal to 12566 Newton. External force becomes equal to 12566, at that time PM becomes equal to 10,000. So this is the separating force. At that time, when the external force on the bolted assembly becomes equal to 12566 Newton, there will be separation. This is the force, separating force on one board. Such 8 boards are there. Therefore, total separating force will be equal to PS multiplied by 8. So that will be equal to 100,528 Newton. This is the force when the force, external force on the 8 number of bolts, or it is the force on the cylinder heads. When the force on the cylinder head becomes equal to 100,528 Newton, there will be separation of the members. There will be separation of the cylinder head from the flange of the cylinder, and there will be leakage of working fluid. So at the time of separation, total force as experienced by the cylinder head due to pressure of the working fluid will be equal to 100,528 Newton. So this is the force divided by projected area of the cylinder that will indicate pressure at the time of separation. Therefore, separating pressure will be equal to total separating force PTS divided by projected area of the cylinder. Projected area of the cylinder is pi r square. Separating Total separating force is known to us 100,528, and pi r square is the projected area. Therefore, separating pressure we can calculate 1.25 Newton per millimeter square. In the usual ordinary working condition, internal pressure is 1.2 Newton per millimeter square. But suppose by mistake or by any chance, accidentally, this pressure rises to the level of 1.25 Newton per millimeter square, there will be separation of the joint, there will be failure of the joint, there will be leakage of the working fluid from the in between space of cylinder head and members, cylinder head and the flange of the cylinder. The members will lose the compression, and members will start separating from each other. They will lose their intimate contact, and there will be separation or leakage. So at the time of separation, pressure inside the cylinder will be of the order of 1.25 Newton per millimeter square. Therefore, it will be called as separating pressure. Now, in this way, a can be bolted joint subjected to tensile load can be designed. Here we have seen how to design the board. That means how to find out diameter or size of the board. Here we have found out size of the board, and also we have predicted the separating pressure or separating force, that is the force, external force at which there will be separation of the members, at which there will be failure of the bolted assembly, failure of the joint, that is also calculated. So in this way, one can analyze a bolted joint under tensile load. During this PPT or during this today's video tutorial, we have seen what are the threaded joints, what are the 4 different types of threaded joints, how to find out load share on bolts and members, PB and PM, how to find out resultant of initial load and external load. That means FB is equal to Fi plus PB, Fm is equal to minus Fi plus PM. And also we have analyzed and designed the bolted joints subjected to external tensile load. So that's all in this video tutorial. Thank you.